Yeah, I
maybe
mean,
for part 2 or 3?
we have Facebook accounts of every single character, obviously, and whatever. This was so hard for us to get off the ground. Just to even be here right now is a goddamn miracle. Once we finished the movie, we decided and opted to do it in a different route, where we weren't going to go out and try to sell it. We were just going to get out and just show it, and we were going to self-distribute it. And a lot of the ideas that we had, like we had a bunch of, we were actually going to do iPad games, and we were going to do all these different types of things. We didn't have the ability to. It took every ounce of our energy just to get in the van. And again, we're not going to talk about the van. It's gone now. The
van is done.
The van is done. But just to get in the van and to drive across the country. So now that we have a break, we're going to start expanding the world. I think that's what you're asking me. So we are going to start expanding things. The good news is Terrence has already completed episode 2. We are in the middle of writing and figuring out episode 3 right now. And this is just the beginning. This is not an end to the Devil's Carnival Tour. This is the beginning of the Devil's Carnival Tour. So you guys are here at the ground floor. It's only going up from here. So yes,
or down.
Or down. Well, maybe up. We're going to heaven next. So, thank you for the question. Someone else? Yes, back there.
Since Emily Autumn wasn't at the first LA showing, I just wanted to ask about her song and.
Don't talk about her in third person. She's right here.
I know I have a disguise, but I would like to.
Mark, come down here, Mark Center. All right, sorry, go ahead.
Well, I was wondering about your song, and as a musician yourself, if how the performance or recording of your song went. Did you have input, or did you just do what they gave you, or how did that work out?
This was one of the only cases I could possibly imagine being a part of where I actually didn't need to have input or change anything because it was already absolutely perfect. And it was perfect when we were doing tequila shots and went through at the piano and just sang it through for the first time. And that was pretty much it. It was completely like in an alternate reality. I am this character and it is me, and the song was it was perfectly done. So we recorded it. It was incredibly easy, and I didn't even want to go in and change it or make it like EA or anything. That was kind of the point, is doing one thing in my life that was about letting go of this whole fantasy world that I've created that we're a part of. So it was a huge privilege to be in such good hands that I could let go and actually be incredibly happy about it in the end. Wow!
Well, I'm gonna add to Emily's thing that was kind of exciting. Emily was the first person that we actually brought on the movie.
Which I didn't know. I thought we had this whole cast planned out, and I was like, oh yeah, I'll totally be in this movie.
Well, Darren probably told you that.
With all these famous people.
If I may add to your story a little bit, Emily was the only person that we knew was cast kind of early on in the writing process. So, as fans of Emily's work, the charge, I think, for Sarah and I, was to write something that would be great for you to perform and sing. And we ran out of the horn a lot of things, and we were actually both rather nervous to play it for you. Kind of be like, I hope she likes what we did. And so it was a really magical night. There were tequila shots, and basically a suburban home at a piano, hearing her sing it for the first time, kind of as you were hearing it for the first time. And it was pretty rad. And that little recording on a phone sitting in the middle of the room of Sarah at the piano and Emily
we were doing
singing.
it into the cell phone so that we could send it to Darren, who was filming something else, just to say hey, we're actually doing our job, and this is not going to suck, and I'm not terrible. And
but that recording is charming in itself.
So that's good. I love that first recording.
I do too. So maybe we'll get to release a second CD at some point with bonus materials.
Thank you.
Let's do a couple more questions. Anyone else have any other questions? Yes, over here.
Have you thought about using some sort of crowdfunding technique to put out DVDs or more CDs, like Kickstarter, for example?
You know what? We thought about Kickstarter for a long time, and here's my answer. This is Kickstarter. We're doing it right now. You guys being here is part of our Kickstarter. I would rather be able to hand you something tangible and say, whether the experience of watching this or a poster or a soundtrack, and say, here, for your donation, I'm going to give you something for it. Instead of saying, give me money, and then hopefully I'll be able to go film something. So this is our Kickstarter. So you are part of it right now. So thank you. And buy a CD when you leave. Let's do 2 more questions before we let the plebeians in. I mean the other people in. Yes, right here.
I was going to say, it's kind of a strange question, but in the opening scene, there's a painted doll being painted on by someone off camera with the brush. And then later on, Lucifer in front of the mirror holding a brush, it kind of zooms into the brush. And I was wondering if there's a brush connection.
Well, you're very perceptive. The question was, all these... Here's the thing, I don't want to get into too much of a spoiler about future episodes. Terrence and I talked about the big picture of this entire thing and where it goes by the very end. This is episode 1 of episodes 300. We know where the final end game is. And it was funny, when I worked on X-Files long time ago. And one of the things on X-Files is, I asked the writers one time, do you know where this is going to go? Do you have an ending? And they're like, nope. And then they kept writing. Terrence and I talked about what the end game for Lucifer is and what it actually means. And the brushes is part of that end game. And I think part of what it comes down to, in a very small scale, without giving it all away, is a lot of these people are putting on performances. They're putting on acts. They're painting themselves to basically act out a scene for their audience. And so, whether be it Terrence in the beginning or Painted Doll doing it the very thing, they're very much putting on a performance. So I'll give you that right there.
Thank you.
Yes,
They're carnies.
That's brilliant. I didn't know that. Whoa, I totally get it. Well,
mind blown.
Hence the need for change. We're tired of performing.
wow, that's amazing.
Okay, yes, right there.
I was just wondering if you guys are going to go more into the backgrounds of the different characters in the first one, like say the Woe Maidens, the different
Yes,
characters that you didn't really go into before.
Yeah, absolutely.
You don't want to know. Who are you?
Something that, just given our time constraints and our budgetary constraints, we were only able to, when we first started writing, this thing was only 20 minutes. It was all it was. We had a 20-minute idea. And then 20 minutes became 30, 30 became 40. We edited it to be 55. It was never supposed to be what it is. It was supposed to be a short YouTube clip. That's what it was going to be. Terrence and I saw an idea. Let's make a short film to basically fill that gap where Repo left off. And outside of Dr. Horrible's single-on blog, there really isn't a lot of these kind of things being made and immediately accessible to the fans. Think about how many times a musical is actually released. It's very few and far between. So we said, let's go off and make this thing. And then when I started hearing the music, I kept writing them saying, more. I want more. I want more songs. I want more characters. And so it's kind of my fault that I was just like cracking the whip. And I remember I still have it. I saved the voicemail from Terrence where I told him that I wanted the attendees to sing. And that is John, Marywood, and Tamara. They were never supposed to sing. And in fact, in the first draft, they didn't. And I was like, write songs for them. And I get this message from Terrence. He's like, hey, brother, man, just got a message. You wanted to sing. Let's talk about this, man. Really, let's sit down and talk about this because I'm not sure. And I was like, dude, they need to sing. Everyone needs to sing. And because of that, we expanded these characters that were very small to begin with that got bigger and bigger. So now we have this task in front of us that we're going to start expelling their backstories and telling you what they are. An example, in episode 2, it starts off with the Woe Maidens, and you see much more of them probably in that first couple of scenes, and you did all of the last episode. So there is, you are going to see a lot more of these characters and where they came from, as well as introducing new characters, which is exciting as well. And that's kind of our idea, is to mix rock and roll, people such as our man over here, Clown from Slipknot. And is taking people like this, and every episode introducing the audience to new people that we respect as artists and we admire as artists. And so it's going to be a continually growing thing, as well as revealing backstories as the episodes go on.
So we all have a job.
You all have a job, yes.
All right.
Even
Even
you.
you.
I have to say how badass is that music?
And we got Give me a hail, say, oh.
The whole time I thought it was on speaker and I looked over and I'm like, what?
Well, guys, thank you very much for being a part of our closing night here in Los Angeles. Thank you for coming back again after already seeing this shit numerous times. How many have seen it more than twice? Oh my God. There's Well, guys, we hope it lives up the second viewing and the third viewing. Thank you guys so much. Let's fucking rock and roll. All right, guys. Talk to you soon.
Thank you.